Hey guys, it's Hannah Olson from MaryHappyVlog.com, and you can find me on Instagram at freckledhan. And I'm really excited about today's video because if you're seeing this video, then that means we have officially announced that we are expecting baby number 3 later this year, and we are really excited. I know that people tend to have lots of questions about this stuff, and since I tend to be an oversharer, I thought I would just make a video answering all the questions that you might be too afraid to ask. Was this baby planned? Yes, it absolutely was. We actually decided to start trying to have another baby back in October of last year. Actually tried for a few months and it wasn't really working, which was weird because with Lydia, I've talked about this many times, she was a surprise, and then with her son Elliot, we talked about trying to have another baby, and then about a week later I took a pregnancy test and it was positive. So having my first negative pregnancy test was something I had never experienced before. After a few months, we decided that I should try to lessen breastfeeding a little bit with Elliot because he was exclusively breastfed at the time, and maybe that would help my body get pregnant again. And I didn't totally intend to stop nursing him altogether, but for whatever reason, it just kind of happened that way. He started taking normal bottles, and then I was able to get my body back into like a normal cycle. So that then I finally took a positive pregnancy test in January, and we were so excited, and we were actually just a couple days away from telling our family when I had a miscarriage. And that was again something that I'd never experienced, so that was definitely an emotional day for me. I obviously felt very, very blessed to have the 2 children that I do have and how healthy they are and everything. We went through a little bit of a grieving process and mourning that for a little while, but we decided to just continue trying right away. The day that we found out that I was pregnant with this baby was the day, if you follow me on Instagram, you might remember this, but I had eaten some really questionable leftovers that were in our fridge. And I posted about how, like, hope I don't regret this later or something. Well, I hope I don't regret that decision, but for the record, it still tasted delicious. I'm not gonna tell you how long it was in the fridge, but it still tasted delicious. And later that night, I just felt so sick. I've kind of been in the habit the last few months that, like, anytime my body does anything weird, I take a pregnancy test because I stocked up at the Dollar Tree, so I have tons of pregnancy tests. Anyway, so that night I was just feeling so sick, and I thought, like, it's probably those leftovers that I ate that I shouldn't have eaten. But I decided to take a pregnancy test, and I did, and it was negative. So I went out with my husband, we went to a friend's party, and then we got back, and I had left the test on the counter, which is probably gross, but whatever. And when I got back, I could see this like really, really faint second line, which I honestly wouldn't have thought anything of, except when we got pregnant with Lydia. I mentioned that she was a surprise, and when I took the pregnancy test for her, there was this little faint line, but I was like, there's no way, it's not dark enough, it doesn't mean anything. And so he Googled it at that point. Answers on Google were very clear that if there's any hint of a line at all, then that means it's positive. And so when I got back and I saw this really faint line, I was kind of freaking out, but then really confused because it hadn't shown up. And so I waited until the next morning and then took another one, and that one was very clear. I was very early when I found out. Like, I think I was like 3 weeks. I didn't even know you could get a positive test 3 weeks into a pregnancy. But I did, which has been bittersweet because I feel like this pregnancy is gonna feel so much longer. I'm curious to see how long this pregnancy will feel though, actually, because Lydia's pregnancy was so long, and I was pretty sick with hers. But then Elliot's, I felt a lot better, and it like flew by, I think because, I don't know, I was just busy with Lydia. So now I'll be busy with 2 kids, but I found out like a month earlier than I did with my other 2 kids. Yeah. What was I gonna say? We want to have 5 kids. That's the goal right now. So we'll see, obviously, after every child we evaluate to make sure that we're still on the same page with that. Our goal was to have our kids pretty close together, so we'll see if we can continue doing that, and I just can't wait to see Lydia and Elliot's reaction to a new baby. I hope to do like little videos along the way during this pregnancy, and I have to answer any questions about it and all that stuff. We are excited, and I hope you guys will join along as we go through this journey together.